I once again came back. Um, Slightly different, but still associated with bulb collecting, etc. I may add that us, I say bulb collectors, well, I'm speaking of myself and my mate. We both do it. We love to go around flea markets or boot sales, junk stores, any place where you can find something that's a bit old, where other people don't know what on earth it is, and you can pick up the odd lamp as well. And we have both had good finds, independently, but good finds. Anyhow, yesterday I went to the first one of the year at St Helier Hospital. They, on the grounds adjacent to the hospital, they hold a boot sale. It started yesterday, 1st of May, May Day, and it was they're held every Saturday and every Wednesday. Get it right, don't you? Go to it and find it's not on. Wednesdays and Saturdays, and that goes on throughout the summer months. A lot of the other ones that my mate goes to are all year round, so he's even more luckier. Anyhow, stopped me going on. Obviously it picked up a few bits and bobs. I normally show it as like a haul of the day. We all do it, we're all guilty, so we do enjoy rummaging through a load of rubbish. Some people would probably say it's a load of crap, but it's not. You never know what you're going to find. Anyway, I was looking yesterday and this inspection lamp turned up, covered in dust, dirt, you name it, it was covered. I picked it up, I thought, I almost put it back down again and think, no, I'm not going to have that. But I looked at it, I thought, that is old. It might be rusty, it can always be cleaned, painted. The wire on it, I can show you the wire, beautiful bit of cable, look at that. I wouldn't, I haven't plugged it into the mains. The cable is in fact in one area, it's been sliced through. So, as I say, with any of these things, if it's intended to be used, please check that the wiring is okay, and if need be, put a new length of cable in it. This will just be as a demonstration job. I shan't be actually using it. And as you can see, the end ended in a bayonet connector. And no, I'm not going to plug it in because I've got more respect for my life. But be careful, as I say, these things do turn up at boot sales. You don't know what the electrical state they're in is like. They've got to be looked at. And I must also show you this, what it was, that was in it as well. So the plug was plugged into that adapter. These used to be called heat and light adapters, and in those days you would, if you wanted to put a little bit of heat in the room, you'd have these electric bowl fires. A lot of them were, had an element in the middle and a bowl fire in copper. A lot of them were quite collectible now if you can get a hold of them. And anyhow, in those days sockets were, well, they just weren't about. So all your juice or your electricity came from the centre drop of your light, and this is exactly what they would do. Your main bulb for the room would go into that holder there and be on a switch. You can see we've got a switch there, red and black, and the socket on the side would be for your heater. And it obviously worked quite well today such a arrangement would be frowned upon with our electrical safety standards and all that. So, you know, although if you use them carefully they're all right, but I would never ever recommend you plug an iron into it or a heater or something like that, because you'll definitely overload. But in those old days people didn't know. Fuse boxes, funnily enough, were made of wood. Some of them even had a glass front to them. The fuses were large, they were fused on live and neutral, unlike now where they're only fused on the live side. But in those days, yes, live and neutral were used. I say occasionally, it's not even occasionally, I have seen such fuse boxes on offer, but normally by antique dealers. They are considered to be quite rare, and whether they're complete with the fuse and everything, if they are, they're worth getting, because obviously they're only going to increase in value. Anyway, getting back to this lamp, there's the lamp itself. It's made of wood. It's got a carrying handle which is in remarkably good condition. And that's my phone tinkling, they're going to have to wait. There's the thing now, in there you've also got a baton holder. This type of holder was called a baton holder. And you had a skirt, I think these would call it a skirt. It's a BC holder, a metal cage which could be opened up to give access to the lamp. It's all there, and it would probably work. I'm not going to plug it in because the wiring has to be checked and cleaned up and changed, and preferably well, there's no earth on this. There's no metal parts except for the cage, which is isolated from any electric cables. Anyhow, also with it was a lamp. Now, no way would this be the original lamp for this light. The lamp is a good old mushroom, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. It's probably blown, been in a lead lamp or an inspection lamp. Could have been knocked about or anything. So I gently took it out, hoping to find something on it in the way of an etch. There is an etch, but I can't make it out. The filament you'd expect to see in this type of lamp, coil, but it's not. It's a single coil filament, which is interesting in itself. Also, it's got one fuse in there, which I think they call it a Ballatini fuse. It's one of these fuses that's got, like, I don't know, it's silica or what it is round it in a glass tube. So it's not ancient. But having said that, this is, and I wondered, I thought, well, who made it? It's well made. In those days things were made strong. I would say it's possibly 1950s or even earlier. The lamp is definitely not 50s. So we can say the two items was never intended to go together age-wise. The lamp is much later. Anyhow, I was scratching my head, which I do. My fingers are full of splinters. And I decided, I'm not going to show you it now because I can tell you what's under there. I removed the skirt. They call it a skirt, I think. And it just screws on to the lamp holder. And when I took it out, there was a name on that baton holder. A name which is probably not familiar to a lot of you. Goltone, Golton. It might be Tone, I'm not too sure, but it's Goltone. I will check that before I put it up. I'll write it on thing, Goltone. I thought, my God, I haven't seen that name for donkey's years. And it immediately told me where this lamp came from. A little bit of detective work, and it told me where it was made, because Goltone was a trademark that good old Woolies used, F.W. Woolworths, which we were talking about the other day, and they used that trademark. The stuff was not the best quality in the electrical bits and pieces. The Bakelite was often very, very brittle. I'm amazed this one has lasted so well. So mystery ended there. It was made by Goltone, and this is, I would say, is original. So it was made by Goltone and fitted onto that lamp. I would say it was obviously sold by Woolworths. I don't remember them. Mind you, I was a kid when I first went in to Woolworths. So I just don't know. Anyhow, that is the little history on that. If anyone knows anything about it, and that, you know, please give us a shout. And I say we're always looking for items that turn up at boot sales. I must admit, I picked this up yesterday and thought, blimey, if I bought a load of rubbish, I only gave her, I think, either £1 or £2 for it, which in my mind is quite a reasonable price. And I was talking to my mate, well, I think I showed him over apps, the thing we use and send pictures and that. And he said, oh yeah, that was good. I said, yeah, it's the kind of thing you'd get, isn't it? He said, yeah. So we're all guilty. It's nice to be able to clean these things up, although I probably won't be cleaning this one up. It'll be kept as it is. Now, just before I go, the little bayonet cap plug, I recognise that immediately. It's made by GEC, and they seem to produce a lot of these. In fact, I believe a set of Christmas lights would use that type of plug, and I remember those were also made by GEC, exactly the same design. So there we are, and well, that's more or less all I can say about it. The adapter, I've looked for names on it, and apart from a load of encrusted muck that's on it, I can't see any names at all. It just says made in England, 1 amp AC. It's telling you don't use more than 1 amp. Mind you, electric irons and heaters can be more than that. You've also got a patent number, but no manufacturing name, which leads me to think it's not made by Goltone, because Goltone stuff always had their name written on it. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Any questions, please ask. I'll try and answer them if I can. If anyone has come across one of these lamps in the past, going back a long time, because I said I reckon 1950s or thereabouts, and from good old Woolies. It was Woolies in those days. I used to love going in those shops. I said before in the other one, passing the ice cream counter, I lingered on that counter, hoping that I was going to be bought an ice cream. Sometimes the answer was no, it will spoil your dinner. I remember that answer being given. It was a good excuse to get out and buy me an ice cream. Anyhow, I go off the subject again, which I shouldn't. Anyhow, once again, thanks for watching. I'll put this up on YouTube and see how we do. Thanks again. Thank you.